In this video, we're going to learn how we can create this animation using GSAP animation platform. So let's get started. We're going to cover a lot of topics on GSAP. For example, we're going to cover from, to, and timelines. And in terms of CSS, we're going to touch the properties, for example, the transforms, transform origin, and so on and so on. So let's get started with the HTML, because you always have to know the HTML in order to apply these animations and also the properties in CSS, of course. And as you can see, we have this heroes section that's very simple. We don't have a lot of markup here. We only have the H1, which is basically a simple title. And then we have this image right here, which was made by AI. I found it on the Midjourney, the Discover section of Midjourney. And then we, of course, are going to import the CDN of GSAP and then the JavaScript file that we're going to use. I'm going to close this picture right here, and we're going to take a look at the CSS that we have. For example, we have the resets right here and here. Then we have some background color. The height of the hero section is going to be 100 VH minus 2 rem, because we have a padding in the body. So we have to subtract 1 rem from both the top and the bottom. Then we have some display flex, the color on the background. Then we have the title. This actually has this property, because I believe I did not like it that much when it was like this. It looks a bit weird, in my opinion. So we're going to leave that there. And then we also have the hero image, which is going to use this overflow clip so it doesn't slide off from the container, and also a height on 85%. And that's where we basically have where the animation is supposed to end. So basically here you can do two things, right? You can start by using froms, or you're going to set the CSS into some places, so you can use two instead. And as you remember from the last video that I made, I explained why it's better to use two, because if you use from, then you're going to get that FOUC problem. So let's get started with from. So we actually have to reduce the size of the image to 0. So it actually, the title is going to be on the center, and that's what we're going to do right now. So we're going to change this to 0, and now we have the title in the center, which is better, which is exactly what we wanted. Then we also need to make this had some sort of animation, but we're actually going to tweak that. So let's get started with the JavaScript, which I have right here. I already have the selector, so we don't waste time by typing all of this. And let's start with the title, right? Because let's give it some sort of animation, so we can actually make this more interesting. So let's say GSAP.to, and we're going to use the title, and then we open the object. And let's say I want to scale X by 0. And this is what's going to happen. It's basically going to shrink down to the center. But I also want this to transform origin to left. And this is actually going to shrink the text to the left, as you can see here. But we don't want this to go to these properties, right? We want it to go from these properties and to do something like this, as you can see here. So what we have to do is basically set these properties on the CSS that we have. So it's going to be on the title, so we're going to say transform scale X is going to be 0, and then transform the origin to the left. And this is basically going to have the same effect, but instead we have to change this stuff. We actually don't need to change this. We only have to go to scale X to 1, and there you actually have it. So now what we have to do is basically make the image grow, right? So let's go to the image. Let's say GSAP.to and the image. We open the object, and we're going to say height. You remember the height was 85%, so we're going to set that in, and now this should be working. But now you can see that both of these are playing at the same time. So we can actually do two things in this case. For example, we can give this a duration of 1 second. and then we're going to make this have a delay of 1 second. And that actually looks as what we had at the start. But you can see, just imagine if you had a lot of this stuff, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. For example, let's say for some reason I want to the image to shrink once again. Let's say I want the image to go to height to 0. Now you will see that it's going to work a bit weird. It's not going to work as I expected because we have to add the delay, so this is going to be the duration of 1 as well. And then we're going to say a delay of 2 because we have a duration of 1, which is 1 plus 1 is 2. And you will see that this is actually going to shrink once again. But as you can see, we can try this once again just for the sake of showing this to you and why this is a problem actually. A duration of 1, and this should be a delay of 3, and we should make the image go back to 85%. And now it's going to grow, then it's going to shrink, and then it's going to grow again. But this is not quite what you want actually, right? You have to adapt the durations, then you have to add the delay, as you can see here, and it's going to be very annoying to actually keep doing this over and over and over again. So let's actually get rid of all of this except for the first two, and we're going to create a timeline in this case, which is basically going to be const here. It's going to be GSAP.timeline, and timeline, as the name says, is going to be a timeline where we can actually put these twins right here. This thing right here is called a twin with 2 e's, so for example something like this. This is going to be a twin. Okay, so how do we actually move these twins to work in the timeline? So we're going to say the exact same, but instead of using this object, we're going to use the TL. So we're going to say TL.to, and then you can basically paste all of this right here. And that looks a bit weird to me. I always do it like this. So, and then you can actually get rid of this. I mean, no, this is actually the duration of the animation, so that's fine there. So then we're going to say TL.to. We're going to just copy and paste all of this, and then we're going to paste it here. And you will notice that it's going to be the exact same. It's not working because I believe we have to give it TL.play. I'm not exactly sure. Let's see what's going on here. It's going to GSAP.timeline. This is going to be title image. Why isn't this working? Okay, so we basically had to get rid of the other things. And as you can see here, we have the duration. I mean, we have the delay here, and that's why the animation is waiting for some time. See? Then it's going to pause here, and the pause that you see here is because of this value. And we can actually get rid of this because, as you can see with timelines, you can just basically, this is going to play when this ends. So that's basically way similar than what we had in the previous the solution we had before, because you don't have to set the delay, the duration, and so on and so on. And I also believe you don't have to put TL.play. This is just going to play by itself, as you can see here. But you can also control the TL.play. So that's a good thing to know. So that was it. This is the animation, and I'm going to see you in the next video, in the next one. We're going to cover a lot of topics on GSAP. For example, we're going to cover from, to, and timelines.